Poppin' B. Purpok here, and welcome back to another episode of Race the Ramen, the show where I attempt to review something unscripted in the amount of time it takes to boil an instant ramen. And today we'll be taking a look at Juror number 2, showing now in theaters. Or maybe it isn't by the time I put this up. Who knows? Alright, we're going to start the timer right now. Okay, so, Juror number 2. This is an intriguing little courtroom drama sort of movie that popped up on my radar in the last few weeks, and I had the opportunity to go see with my girlfriend recently. And seeing how not a lot of other people seem to be able to see it, I figured I'd chip in and tell people what I think about it. For those who aren't aware, Juror number 2 is the most recent and potentially final film from actor-director Clint Eastwood. I've never seen a Clint Eastwood film before, but I know that the guy's getting on in years. He's like 94 now. And he's still directing, and I guess he's just going to keep directing until he can't no more. And good for him, because he made a pretty cool little movie that unfortunately most people cannot see. See, this movie was distributed by Warner Brothers, and for those of you who don't know, the current CEO of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, is like the biggest fucking idiot in like all of media entertainment, at least television. He's one of the biggest dopes currently working a job that he shouldn't. And he and Warner Brothers made the decision to release this Clint Eastwood like legal drama thing that would probably play pretty well with a lot of people in 50 total theaters across the United States, so almost no one has had the chance to see it. And I have no idea why, because like after seeing it, it was pretty damn solid. I'm gonna keep this one relatively short and spoiler free, because this is kind of a really twisty and revelation and character development based sort of drama. But what you basically have here is a 12 Angry Men sort of setup where you got a main character, but then you have a bunch of other people who are all together part of this jury for a trial of this guy who's being accused of murdering his girlfriend. And then, I won't say exactly what, but our main character has a revelation that could change the outcome of the trial. And then the jury persists for a while because they can't come to a decision. And it's sort of a modern examination of if the justice system is really working as we intend it to. If it is, but is still not really doing what we think it should be doing. And our individual roles as members of society in contributing to that justice system. It's a pretty familiar setup. Again, 12 Angry Men, if you've ever seen that, then this will be familiar, and I think they understand that. But it doesn't feel like a copycat or anything. It feels like a distinctly modern, fresh take on that with enough modern day aspects of storytelling and characterization that it feels relatable. And, I don't know, just a really solid little drama with a lot of really good character actors. Nicholas Hoult is great in it, J.K. Simmons is great in it. The chubby lady from Victoria's Secret and Paul Blart is in it. Everyone's here. You should see Juror number 2. Hopefully that gives you a decent impression of what I think of the movie. I wanted to keep this one short because, again, kind of a spoiler-heavy topic, really dramatic, character-driven movie, and to really go any more into the core premise, I'd probably spoil too much. Just know that this is like a really solid, enjoyable, pretty tense little thriller sort of thing, and I enjoyed it a lot, and so did my girlfriend. The whole theater, well, it wasn't like packed or anything. Everyone in there seemed really absorbed. It was mostly older people, and I feel like that audience would have eaten this movie up if it was given a wider release. Do you know how many like retirement communities would have booked like field trips to see this crap if you would put it in like hundreds of mall cineplexes? But no, on average it's one per U.S. state, and I'm willing to bet some of the states didn't even get it. And what? Really, for what reason? Why? This movie is like a really straightforward, well-made, just like polished little like crime drama with decent characters and a cool little message that it's trying to play with. And for some reason, it's being drowned out by a bunch of other crap, because I guess Warner Brothers is too busy selling all the copper wire in their building, that's not even a joke, by the way, instead of distributing movies. So, that fucking sucks. But if you have the chance, you should absolutely see Juror number 2. You should absolutely see it. It's very good, lots of memorable little performances and little touches that make it good. And as someone who's never seen a Clint Eastwood movie before, either one he's been in or one he's directed, this was a good time. And I'd recommend it to anyone who has the chance to see it. I give Juror number 2 a 7 out of 10. Again, damn solid. Maybe if I watch it again, it could go up to an 8. But as it is, really very good, verging on being really, really good. But as it stands, just a solid, pleasant little surprise of just a well-made little movie with not a ton of visual style, but like a clean, clear style to it, good editing and pacing, and just a tight little package overall. And again, it's a shame more people can't see it right now, because I guess Warner Brothers is too busy not screening Joker 2 for audiences and not releasing Coyote vs. Acme. I seriously don't know. I don't know. What else is Warner Brothers up to this year that they can't, like, put this movie in 100 theaters? You guys want to go bankrupt? It really seems that way.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And today we'll be taking a look at Red 1. Showing now in movie theaters. Alright, we're going to start the timer right now. Okay. So, Red 1. Oh boy. Where to start? This is a Christmas movie that came out recently that I've been seeing scattered advertising for over the last month or so. And I wasn't sure what to think of it. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I thought, wow, this looks really cheesy and kind of bad. It appeared to be, as there have been many before, a modern take on the Santa Claus story, where Santa's got, kind of a sick military setup, and he can, fly a super fast light-speed sleigh. He's got a special, strike force watching over him. In vague terms, you've probably seen some version of this take on Santa Claus before. But I guess the big thing here is that it's on a gigantic blockbuster screen, big budget. $250 million went into this project. Executive produced by Dwayne the Rock Johnson. You got Chris Evans, Captain America in this. Lucy Liu, J.K. Simmons, Nick Kroll. Pretty sizable amount of talent. Lots of money. And just a lot of, all that stuff. And it's coming out in late November, mid-November, trying to get a new holiday movie out there. And I'm among those people who can look past the flaws in a movie if it's a holiday movie and it does enough to cater to the spirit of the season. And even putting that aside, I can enjoy a corny movie, right? A cheesy movie. So I was kind of hopeful for this movie. I didn't think it was going to be good, realistically. But I thought maybe it could be, cheesy and fun entertainment. And I don't think it's that, really. Honestly, based on what I heard going into it, I expected it to be horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And don't get me wrong, it's a pretty bad movie, but I don't think I got the right impression from what people were telling me. I was seeing 1s out of 10s, 2 out of 10s, this is trash. Horrible ratings, it's got a terrible Rotten Tomatoes score, audience rating 2. I really don't know what people think of it. I can tell you what I think of it. I think it is a confused, messy, boring slog. Straight up. Red 1, I don't know who it's for. I really don't know who it's for. You can make a silly Christmas movie. You can make a slightly less childish Christmas movie. This is a PG-13 thing. But legitimately, I cannot tell you who in the world this movie was for. It doesn't feel Christmassy enough. It doesn't really have enough action for what's kind of an action movie. It's not a horrible comedy, but it's not all that funny. And it's just really, I want to reiterate this, boring. This movie is just really boring. There's a lot of just like long-winded exposition for like really basic stuff about Christmas and like their own versions of it. Acronyms all over the place. The characters are extremely thin. Like, Chris Evans is basically our main character next to The Rock. And, you know, he's like a scuzzy guy, but he's got a kid he's kind of estranged with, and he'll make it up to him and come to his concert by the end of the movie. It is that exact kind of generic-ass plot you've probably seen in Disney movies like 60,000 fucking times, but done even weaker. There are plot points that just don't really feel like fleshed out in any way, even to like the most basic minimum way to make the story progress. There's maybe like 2 or 3 scenes with Chris Evans, his kid, and his wife, and it's just like, okay. The opening scene of him as a child is like meant to establish that he's like a naughty kid, but it does so in like a really basic, boring way that doesn't really set the tone or like do anything special. And sorry, his name slips my mind right now, but the director of this is the guy who directed Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which is one of my favorite comedies ever, and like the greatest parody of musical biopics ever, maybe next to Weird, the Al Yankovic story. But like, I just don't get it. You have a proven director, a lot of talent, a lot of money, and you have like the Santa mythos. You have like a shitload to work with. Like the few scenes that J.K. Simmons, Santa, and Dwayne the Rock Johnson are together are fun because you have 2 very charismatic actors bouncing off each other. Then J.K. Simmons, Santa, just gets kidnapped for most of the runtime. I swear to fucking God, he's in this movie and Juror number 2. He disappears halfway through Juror number 2. He might have more screen time, more lines. It's a Christmas movie with not nearly enough Santa. So what the fuck? Hopefully that gives you a decent impression of what I think of the movie. I could go on about this one for a while, but the big thing you should take away from this is that Red One is not worth watching. Even if you like a cheesy holiday movie, this doesn't feel like one of those. It doesn't have nearly enough Christmas like visuals or just Christmas spirit to it. It's too busy being like serious and po-faced for no reason when it's a story with like buff snowmen beating up the Rock and like magical devices that can turn Hot Wheels into real sports cars. Like, they don't do enough to like embrace like the silly side of it, because this whole thing's really silly and they take it so fucking seriously that it's actually just lame. So much money and so much time spent on like these reasonably decent special effects and stuff for just like the most like whatever unfinished, bland, generic first draft script imaginable. Also, I have a suspicion that maybe this was made during the pandemic or something, because there's just so much standing around and talking. It's like it's all they could literally do. The energy is just so off, and it's not great. It's not devoid of positive qualities. I chuckled a few times. The visual effects, again, aren't bad. It's not visually terrible. But, like, you don't have to see this. You especially don't have to see this in theaters. If you're interested, by all means, go ahead, but I really think there are better movies you could spend your time on. I just kept thinking most of the time, this is Arthur Christmas, but less fun and with extra steps. So, fuck it. I wouldn't recommend Red One. I give Red One a 3 out of 10. Again, not the worst, not total slop, but I was bored out of my pants. For like the last half hour, I was like, just wrap this up, I have to pee. I'm so done with this. And my theater got pretty quiet too, so I can't be sure, but I feel like some of the people in there were disappointed as I was. I don't know. All I do know is that a $250 million movie shouldn't turn out like this. Maybe in general we shouldn't have budgets that big just randomly for crap no one wants to watch, because how the fuck do you expect to make that money back? And real quick, I want to talk about The Rock. Last thing. Not a good movie, 3 out of 10, all that, but real quick, Mr. the Johnson, Dwayne Rock, sir, you need to come out of your little fairy world. Like, bro quoted himself recently, like, oh, when I saw Oppenheimer in IMAX, I was like, wow, Imagine that tech for Red 1 on the big screen. You're insane, dude. What planet are you on where you think this is gonna be your next big thing? You thought it was gonna be Black Adam. You thought it was gonna be like any number of things, Fast and Furious. And now you're like, yeah, Red 1's the thing. Stop executive producing these projects, dude. You're digging your own grave. All this shit sucks.
Well, how about a sequel? I could be your stunt double, Dwayne.
You know, I already have a stunt double.
Think about it. We're not so different. You know, same muscular physique, same hairstyle.
That's actually pretty good. Wait, you sound familiar. Have we met before?
I don't know, have we?
What are you doing?
Could have sworn.